She was only doing her job. A quiet waitress, often ignored, because her skin color was different from others. In the same hall, a billionaire sat with his disabled son, who owned all the wealth of the world, but could not understand the pain in his son's heart. Everyone's eyes were on the money, but no one thought that the moment of truth would be born from the steps of an ordinary girl. When she took that step, not only did a dance begin, but also a change that silenced everyone. The question is, how did holding the hand of a simple waitress turn the life of a billionaire upside down? This is the secret hidden in the heart of the story. In the hustle of the restaurant, under the lights, the girl worked day and night, trying to serve customers with a smile. Her name was Maria, a black waitress who not only carried people's plates, but also bore the hidden prejudice in their eyes. For her, this was not just a job, but a fight for life. Every morning, she looked in the mirror and gave herself courage. This day will pass. Tomorrow will be better. That same evening, in the corner of the restaurant, a special table was set. There sat the city's famous billionaire, known to all as unmatched in the world of wealth. With him was his son, a child confined to a wheelchair, whose innocent face carried a permanent mark of sadness. The people in the room looked at the symbol of wealth and power, but no one could feel the silence of that child. When Maria first stepped toward their table, she did not see the money or the power. She only saw a sad child with something broken inside. But this was not just a meeting. This moment was about to begin an event that would change everyone's thinking. No one could imagine that the small step of this ordinary waitress would break the pride of a billionaire and give birth to a story that would reveal the bitter reality of racism and injustice. In his eyes was an emptiness that could touch anyone. For others, the boy in the wheelchair was perhaps only an object of pity, but for Maria, he was a human being who needed someone's touch and love. She made a decision in her heart that she would go near this child, no matter what the people in the room might think. But as soon as she moved forward, whispers began. Some customers pressed their lips and smiled. Some made sarcastic remarks in low voices. "Look at her. Where is she going? Why doesn't she stay in her place?" Maria tried to shut her ears, but those words pierced her heart like arrows. She knew her skin color was enough to make her seem weak, no matter how pure her intentions were. She came closer and smiled at the child. For a moment, it seemed as if a light had awakened in his eyes. Gently, Maria reached out her hand and said, "Would you like to take a step?" The room grew even quieter. People held their breath as they watched. A black waitress was inviting the billionaire's son, who was confined to a wheelchair, to dance. This was a moment of collision between power and racism. The billionaire's companions began to mutter sharply, "She's crossing the line. She must be stopped immediately." But on the child's face, who was holding Maria's hand, a glimpse of joy appeared for the first time. He tried to move his fingers, then tried to match Maria's steps. This was more than a dance. It was a silent rebellion. Then a voice echoed, harsh and commanding. "Enough! Stop this right now." It was the voice of the billionaire's close companion. He stepped forward and stood before Maria. His words were full of poison. "Do you know who you are? People like you are only meant to carry plates, not to go near our son." The hall once again filled with murmurs. Some people lowered their eyes, some enjoyed the scene as entertainment. Maria's heart was beating fast. She knew that if she stepped back, the child would never trust again. But if she stood firm, she might lose her job, her respect, and everything. The child's eyes lifted toward Maria. They were not asking for anything, only making a silent plea. "Let me live just once." Maria took a deep breath, and in front of everyone, she bent down, held the child's hand, and took another step forward. The room seemed to tremble. The billionaire's face turned red with anger, but in the child's eyes, light appeared, and on his cheeks, a smile bloomed. And at that very moment, something happened that shook not only the room, but also the billionaire's life. It was a decisive moment for him. For the first time, he saw his son speak loudly, stand up for his own right. On the child's face, holding Maria's hand, was a light that could never shine in the palaces of wealth. Tears filled the billionaire's eyes. This scene was not just a dance, it was a strike breaking the walls of his pride. He slowly sat down on his chair. The room was silent now, all eyes fixed on him. He took a deep breath and quietly said, "Let her continue." This was the moment when power bowed to humanity for the first time. The dance was not complete, but the meaning was complete. Maria and the child gave a message that no speech, no wealth, and no law could ever give, that neither color nor status is greater than humanity. After that night, everything changed. The billionaire not only apologized to Maria, but also opened doors for her that were once closed. But the real change came in his son. A child who once remained silent and lifeless now began to take steps toward life. He learned to laugh, started to gain confidence, and most of all, he realized that an ordinary girl had changed his world. For Maria, too, that moment was not easy. She understood that speaking the truth and standing firm comes with a heavy price, but her strength lit a flame of hope in many hearts. She knew that racism doesn't end in a single moment. Its chains have been tied for centuries, but she also saw that sometimes one small step can change the direction of the whole world. This story is not only about Maria or the billionaire's son. It is about millions of people who are considered lesser every day because of their color, race, or status, people who often never get a chance to prove their worth. The question is not that one billionaire changed. The real question is, when will the rest of the world change? When will we accept that a person's true identity is not their color, but their heart? This moment reminds us, holding one hand may not stop the world, but it can surely change someone's world.